Your smoke points and oils. This is why it matters where you store your oils, how you cook with them, what type of heat you use with them, because different oils, avocado oil, olive oil, sesame oil, you have so many different types of oils. They are going to become rancid at a certain temperature. So the smoke point is the temperature at which the bonds in these molecules start to break. And at that point, it becomes rancid. Your body looks at this as a free radical, starts an inflammatory response, kicking up an immune response in your body, in your gut, right? Like we just see that's bad news bears.
Yeah.
And then when we're looking at things, this will pull back into the I like fried chicken response, right? When we're looking at some of these problems, these health problems that develop because of the diet that we're looking at, we're talking about like high cholesterol, heart disease, some of these problems, they stem from a high inflammatory diet, a diet that's filled with processed foods. Processed foods have these rancid oils and chemicals in them.
Interesting.
So when you're looking at the fat content, the oil you're using, the smoke point for olive oil, I believe, don't quote me on this one, is around 375 degrees Fahrenheit. So if you are, let's say you are making some roasted Brussels sprouts in the oven, you're like, I'm cooking this really healthy vegetable. Some people are probably like, oh, I hate Brussels sprouts anyway.
I love them. I love them.
They can be good, right?
Yeah,
they can be good. When I make my Brussels sprouts, I like them crispy. So that heat temperature in the oven is up there. It's like 400, maybe 425. I want them crispy. My olive oil is going to smoke at that point. And if I'm using olive oil on my Brussels sprouts, they're going to smoke. The chemical bonds in the oil are going to change then, and it's going to change the way it's broken down in my body.
Wow.
So switching to something like avocado oil, which has a smoke point closer to 500, is going to handle that better.
That is insane. I had no idea. I cook everything in olive oil, and I'm clearly feeding myself rancid oil because I cook every vegetable at 425 in the oven. Asparagus, broccoli, Brussels sprouts, squash, zucchini, everything. And everything's in olive oil. I had no idea.
Yeah. And look, it's not the end of the world.
No, of course not.
It is. Yeah.
Of course it's not the end of the world, but my flabbergastedness is the simplicity of it. If someone had just said, hey, use avocado oil instead, totally fine. I have it. It's in my cabinet. I just didn't know. I didn't know that. I didn't have that information. Happy to use avocado oil. Super easy change.
Pretty easy switch. Yeah.
That's crazy. And if that little bitty thing is better for my body, that takes no effort, just a tiny amount of mindfulness, that's super easy.
Yeah. There's a couple quick things I think you can learn about fats and oils. And this goes into that, like what's a healthy, what's an unhealthy. Like it's not unhealthy or healthy. It's the way in which you use it that makes it more or less healthy there. So there's a couple oils that I would I try to be agnostic. I want to preface this. You can come to me and be like, Kristen, I really want to try paleo. And I'm like, okay, let's see how that'll work for you. I'll do my best to guide you, show you some research and whatever. But there are a couple oils that I would generally say you're going to benefit and see some big increases in your health from avoiding them. I would say really try to stay away from canola oil and soybean oil. Those are the two, or like that just like weird vegetable oil that like, like you just look at the container, you're like, this isn't it. That's,
what vegetables from which did you get this oil?
like generic vegetable oil. What are you?
Yeah,
there? We don't know. Who knows? So those oils are we call it volatile, means it's going to just take a little bit of heat or light exposure, any of these kind of ways to change the molecular structure there.
Okay.
If you take a look at those 100-calorie packs, that pudding container, this like low sugar syrup product, I would bet you a whole lot of money. You're going to see canola oil. You're going to see soybean oil. You're going to see some of these types of oils in there. They are very cheap to make, and they have a really high shelf life, which is why we see them in a lot of processed food there. The minute that that goes into your body, that inflammatory response kicks on.
Wow.